Yeah, hi, it's Brian Newman, and we're here on our third Zoomunion. It's September 19th at 4 o'clock Arizona time. And yeah, we want you to meet our classmates again that we haven't seen in quite a while. So we're going to start with Ned. We're going to go around and take a couple minutes to reacquaint ourselves with each other. So Ned, do you want to go first?
Well, you put me on the spot there. I am not retired. I still do real estate, not sales, but I do pretty much property management of only properties that I have ownership in. I have been married for, I think, 37 years. I have 2 dogs. I have 3 cats. Cats are outside cats. Same thing with the dogs, although they come in and out. I have 2 daughters. I have a stepson who is turning 50 tomorrow. Wow. So with him, I have 8 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren. My one granddaughter works with me. She's my operations manager. Jim's wife also works with me. She's in charge of my accounts receivable or accounts payables. And I try to travel as much as I can. I like working. Sorry, guys, I'm not ready to retire.
No, I understand. Ned, you look great. Where are you living?
Oh, I live in Pepper Pike, which is a suburb off of, if you know, it's by Beechwood. It just has more land per lot versus.
Oh, okay.
Is it a suburb of Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an east side location. It's by Hunting Valley, Gates Mills, any of those places.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, Ned, thank you. Yeah, and I got to chime in. Ned and me were neighbors. His family lived right across the street from us. So we have stayed, yeah, in Hollywood in the dead end, and behind us was St. Paul's Church. So Ned and me have stayed good friends all these years, and yeah, I'm so grateful for our friendship. Ned, thank you for everything.
Oh, I've always enjoyed it. My favorite story about Brian, it's not my favorite, but it's one of the ones that I always enjoyed. Although I always knew his telephone number, what I always loved doing was calling information. And I'd always ask for Paul Newman on Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, so we used to get calls from these girls too, you know, that yeah, it's unbelievable. But thanks, Ned. Thanks for sharing that.
Together.
Yeah, so Randy, hi, you're next in my squares. So if you could go next.
I've been here in Akron since law school, practicing law since 1979. I got married to a young lady I met while I was in law school. She's not a lawyer, in 82. I live in Highland Square on Hereford, the very north part of the square, and have been here for, God, many years, probably 30 years in the same house. 2 of my 3 kids live in Akron. The third one is in DC. I have, from my son who lives a couple blocks away, I have 2 grandchildren now. One of the grandchildren is a 3-year-old boy, and the younger one is a 1-year-old boy. Was always very busy as a lawyer. Never thought or dreamed I would ever retire. There's a friend I have who I asked once what he planned on doing, and he said he had nothing beside being a lawyer, and didn't know anything else to do. And I sort of thought that that might be my situation. But since grandchildren, I have found an interest in playing with cars and other little things that little boys like to play with. And since COVID, a lot of my practice has shrunk, and I'm practicing now for the first time out of my house, which was a dream that I've always had. So business is a little slower, and I'm babysitting some. And I probably used to work 50 hours a week consistently. Now I work probably about 30 hours a week. And I'm babysitting probably 15, 20 hours a week and
Wow.
having a blast doing this. So I don't know what else I'm going to do. Roby can kind of guide me
I
as to
know.
what, and maybe Mike, you can tell me what retirement is like. But I mean, I still can't imagine what it would be like being full-time retired. I lost my brother within the last year. Mark was 2 years older than me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And which was a big blow because we were very close and he was an Akron person too. And so this has been a tougher year for my family. But, you know, the rest of us have stayed healthy, stayed somewhat isolated through COVID, and, you know, doing what we can do. And so I don't know.
Mark, or Randy, yeah, I was going to ask you two things. What kind of law did you practice, or are you practicing?
I am still practicing. I do a lot of auto accidents, wills, probate, and bankruptcy, and that's 90% of what I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, and then in Highland Square, I actually have a couple friends from high school that live there. One of them is Mark Smith. I don't know if you've run across him. He was a year younger than me, but I knew him from the band. And then one was 2 years older than me, Jim Tolley. He lives in Highland Square, where you are.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you remember Eileen Herbert? I'm just bringing her up because I remember she lived on Hereford. So
Yeah, and I didn't know that. Yeah, and I do remember her.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Randy, thank you so much for sharing all that. It's great to see you again.
Yes.
Lily, hi, can you go now? I know. I'll be
All right,
last.
I
I'll be
won't.
last. Okay.
Sure. 1 minute. Let's see.
No, a
Okay.
couple minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So I live in Atlanta. My name was not Lily in high school. So some of you who weren't in the prior Zoom unions are going, who the is she? I was Louise. I had a dysfunctional family of origin. I met my father when I was in law school. And the first time he met me, he looked right through me. And I said, who are you looking at? And he said, my Aunt Lily. And he said, it's your energy. It's not just how you look, it's who you are. And so I changed my name the year later. And I've never regretted it, never looked back. And yes, it's a legal change, so I'm not skirting any legal entanglements.
Okay.
I went to Miami. I graduated Miami of Ohio. I went to a couple different schools before that, but I graduated law school, got married, moved from Pitt. I went to law school at Pitt, moved to Charlotte, and then ended up in Greenville, South Carolina, and then moved back to Charlotte. Got divorced from my first husband, but very amicable. He's a great guy. We just weren't a fit. Both of us came from very dysfunctional families, had no idea what love was. And I'm still working on the concept, but he's a great guy. And so then from there, I dated an artist. He was murdered. I solved the mystery. I'm sorry.
That's what your book is about?
Yes, sir.
What's the name of the book?
I can put it in the chat.
Okay.
It's on Amazon, self-published. So you have to put my name and the title in because I'm not one of these big book, you can just write the name of the book and it'll come up now.
Okay.
So went through, that was a serious change of life. I went to seminary to try to, get a handle on who I was, what I believed, what was going on in my life. I was also started therapy at that time, Jungian therapy, and didn't go for the collar. I was studying ethics. and pursued the Foreign Service, made all the way to officer candidate status, but was never called to duty. That was all in San Francisco. Moved back to the East Coast. A friend in Atlanta said, you know, just move here, you'll figure it out. Up my law license here, did some contract work, switched careers, and became a medical coder. I've been a medical coder since 2015. Love it. Have worked remote since 2015. I have a boatload of school loans. Yeah, love that too. So I have no prayer of retiring. Yeah, I live in a tiny apartment, but I'm paying my school loans. But I'm active in my local coding organization, and I was a speaker to their annual summit this year, and I spoke last year both on stress management and with the pandemic, with climate change, with racism, with everything that's hitting. And so I talk about that a lot.
Oh,
So that's me in a nutshell. No kids, no ring.
oh, okay.
No.
All right. Well, Lily, yeah, if anyone has any questions, yeah, let's save them for a little bit. All right. Yeah, I just want to make it through. So the next, I'm going to skip around. So Larry, can you go next?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
Larry
good to see
Gates.
everybody. Can you
I
hear me
know.
now?
Yeah.
Well, I left Akron, moved to New York in, I think, 1980. And I remember 3 weeks after I moved there, I was on the Upper West Side, and all this crowd started to come out, and it's the night John Lennon was shot.
Oh,
And I
geez.
go, wow, I'm not in Akron anymore. So it was,
Wow.
you know, moving from Akron to New York City, and I stayed there about 15 years. And I met my wife, and I asked her to dance one night, and I've been married 25 years. We
Wow.
we moved to the Hamptons for about 5 years, and then I've been selling software. I actually been working on my house for 30 years. I've never all the companies I worked for were out of California. So I've been doing this for like 30 years, and my wife goes, she started working at home. She says, "This is pretty nice." And I go, "Yeah, that's why I've been doing it for 30 years." So I've got 2 kids. I go back and forth to Australia. That's where my wife's from a city, Hobart, down in Tasmania. So I really got off the radar. I could have married the girl down the street, but no, that was too easy. So
I mean, Nancy Gates,
yeah,
oh, no,
Nancy,
Nancy Hands.
Nancy Hansen. I actually
Yeah.
talked to her. I told her to come on the call.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She
Yeah.
couldn't make it. So
Oh.
I'm down in Florida. I kind of retired about 5-6 years ago. And then I started to, you know, I have a very curious mind. I have a low attention span. So that's one of the reasons school never appealed to me very much. I just couldn't focus. And now everybody has that. But, you know, I've been selling some products. So I really started to design some products to sell on Amazon. So I've been doing that for like the last 5 years. I was into sports a lot. So I developed a weight for a tennis racket. There's no warm-up weight for a tennis racket in the world. So I sell that on Amazon, and I've been doing that for like years. I sell that worldwide. And then I came out with another product is my fitness towel. So when you go to the gym, you're able to do your exercises by looking at a towel.
Wow,
So
that's,
for me,
that's cool.
and again, there's no towel that in existence that has exercises on it. So for me, it's really every day is just like, you know, I finally found something that really I'm interested in, and you know, getting these products developed and bringing them to market and having people email you and call you and say, "Wow, this is fantastic." But I like to do stuff that nobody's ever done before. And
Yeah.
that's the real exciting part is coming up with an idea that's totally new, totally fresh, and having people go, "Wow." I mean, this one doctor in New York City bought 3 towels, and she's a psychiatrist, and she travels around with them, and she's telling me she can't look at an app. She doesn't have time for a trainer. So she goes to the gym, takes my towel, and has this workout that I designed with a trainer. So it's really, sometimes you find your niche early, sometimes you find it late, but it's really good now. And I'm teaching my daughters about e-commerce, and we pack stuff on the weekends out in the garage. And it's just really, really been so interesting. And
That's
going
cool.
down to Australia is so far off the radar. What a great place! What great people! And so, for me, it's everything. I got a late start getting married. I didn't get married till I was like 39 years old. So my kids are young. My kids are in high school and in college. So, but I met the right woman. So that was the key. Don't tell Nancy that. So anyways, it's been great. It really has. It's great to see everybody. I'm looking forward to coming up there in a year or two if we have a reunion.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, Larry, it's great to see you. Yeah, didn't you play a lot of sports in
That's all I
Firestone?
did. I had no. Out of our whole class, I don't want to tell you the number I graduated in because it was not pretty. And I was hoping some of my classmates would be there, but I was never in classes with you guys. I was always in these other classes. It was like,
Oh,
it's like you just don't have the bandwidth sometimes. And when I got to New York, I go, wow, these are like-minded people. They talk fast. They don't have a lot of attention. And I was perfectly at home. So
that's
it really
cool.
worked. It really, it's not for everybody, but it's nice when you find that groove.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great to see you again. Yeah, thank you, Larry. Yeah, thanks for coming on here. So, all right, well, Mike, can you go next? Yeah, it's great to see you. Hi,
Yeah.
Mike Wolfson.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hi,
Okay.
Mike Wolfson. After I left Firestone, I went to Akron U. I graduated with a degree in geography. For 30 years, I was a land use planner, a city planner. I retired from that in 2007 and moved out to Vancouver, Washington, just across the river from Portland, Oregon. And I started over again. I got a job with the city and I was a procurement specialist with the city. Did that for about 11, 12 years. I managed contracts for them for construction projects and also for professional services. I was married for 25 years. I got divorced. I've got 3 kids. My youngest is in Salt Lake. My middle son is still in Ohio. And my oldest is my daughter. She lives in Virginia, and I'm in Virginia right now. I've got 2 grandchildren. I retired for the second time and the last time in 2007. I'm sorry, 2020. First time was 2007. So finally in 2020. And I still live in Vancouver and I do a bunch of hiking.
Oh, cool. Yeah, again, I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah, it's great to see you. Thanks
I'm
for
still in
coming on
touch
here.
with Carol and I'm still in touch with Lenny.
Lenny
Lenny
Weiner?
Weiner.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, tell him I said hello. No, that's great. Well, good to see you, Mike. Yeah, keep in touch. Wendy, hi, can you go next?
Okay.
And you can
Um,
take a few minutes, take a couple minutes.
Yeah, because we have fewer of us this time. So, so I went to University of Michigan, stayed in Ann Arbor 7 years, and then went to Cambridge, Mass, where I said the first place where I get a friend, a job, or school or something, I'll go. And I had a boyfriend get in Tufts Dental School, so I went there. And I started out in journalism, working for the Department of Ed for Massachusetts, doing Chapter 1 newsletters and things. And then I went to New York on a 4-week sublet on a whim to get away from a relationship I was upset about, and said, I'm just going to pretend to move to New York to upset him. And I said, well, while I'm here, wouldn't it be fun to work on Wall Street? I had just discovered the stock market and I was really into it. And I I took $4,000 off a credit card, made it into 24,000 my first year. And so then I got this job as a proxy solicitor and worked my way up to being a junior analyst for a hedge fund. And that was the next career. And then I actually always make more money on my own when I trade in a vacuum and don't listen to anyone, and started doing technical analysis. And so around 98 to 99, I made a couple thousand into 70,000. I put it all into this big old house and became a landlord with a 6-unit building, which, and then at that point I was 45, and I said, you know what, when you get older, it's not good to be stationary. I don't think I want to be sitting in an office. So I can, continue being in an office and pay people to work on this 1867 house, or I can just start learning to work on it myself. And at the time I was with someone who was a contractor, and I learned how to do, much to my mother's chagrin, University of Michigan, and you're doing sheetrock and tile and all these things. It drove her crazy, but you know what? I like being physical, and I think it's keeping me young. I went to Long Island yesterday and swam in someone's pool. I did 36 laps, and I like being active. I've done too much cat rescue. Don't ask me the number because I won't say it on a recording. Carol knows, I'm in touch with her. And, only it's not good. And then I also have a side business selling micronutrients and CBD products and like that. And I'm always busy. I've done some property management too. I'm very, very picky in getting tenants, extremely. And so I have 3 landlords who have paid me to get their tenants. I've been doing that since 2004. And it's actually really hard right now because all the good people that I used to get, the professionals that would come to New York from anywhere, now are working remotely, and I'm getting a really kind of low end thing. So I have 2 empty units, and better that way with, we have the eviction moratorium still going on here. So I'd rather them be empty than have a bad person. So my life is crazy. I can't even imagine retirement, because I work more hours morning till night between the cats and working on the house and tenants and doing it for other people. I work more hours than I ever did when I was younger.
Wow.
So,
Where are you located?
I'm in Staten Island. I did used to live in the Upper East Side, and I still have a co-op at 84th and 2nd that I bought with money I made in the market a different time in 1990. And so I bought that in 1990. And then I was living in a rent control place that caught fire in 1995. It was a weird time because my father died July 11th. I came back from his funeral and I woke up choking on smoke, and I thought, well, I must be dreaming because I think I just buried my father and now my place is on fire.
Oh my.
And I'll always believe that actually my father woke me, because I never wake up after I sleep very deeply 4 hours and then I might hear something. And I woke up with all the sirens, and I didn't know it was my apartment on fire until I was outside and saw the black smoke coming out, because it was above a tin ceiling. And so changeo, I became homeless overnight. And I had a boyfriend in Staten Island who said, well, you can come here for 3 days till you figure out what you're going to do. And I fell in love with, the reason I fell in love with Staten Island is that you can park a car here. So it's the only place in New York, including Westchester, all over the place. Staten Island, we have no street cleaning, no moving the car side to side. So you could park wherever, no rules. So, and we have parking lots with our restaurants and, so I always felt like if you put Akron, Ohio and Manhattan in a blender, you would get Staten Island. So.
Wendy, my sister got married at City Hall at Staten Island. So
Oh, yeah?
at that time she was living in New York City, but they ended up getting married in Staten Island. I think it's a
Wow.
very great area.
It's really great. I can be on a beach in 10 minutes and you don't have to pay for it like you do in other places.
And you have good view.
There's beautiful parks everywhere with water. I was part of a meetup group that was a walking group. And it was led by a woman who retired as a former park ranger. So she knew all these places that I never would have known. I mean, we have a bad area of Home Depot, and you go 2 blocks over and you're in a woods, which who would ever do that? And there's 3 giant ponds and beauty like you never, I went to another place, Mariner's Marsh, got lost in there for 3 hours. And we found the old Procter and Gamble factory and this big lake. It's just really amazing,
wow.
the beauty on this island. Amazing.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it's kind of a good compromise. I sometimes think about
What?
moving back to Akron, but I
Right.
think I only do it part-time. I see.
Yeah, Wendy, I
Brian's-
Brian,
Yeah, go
I've
to
got
Brian.
I've got to blast off, guys. So even though I'm kind of 72 class, I guess I'm the elder spokesman here, but good seeing some of you guys, at least the ones that I remember from Firestone, and I'll try to jump back in next time.
yeah, okay.
All right.
All right,
So,
Brian,
sorry,
great to
guys.
see you.
Bye-bye.
Good to see
Thank
you,
you.
Brian. Thank you.
Well,
All right. Yeah, Mark, so, well, Wendy, thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that. No, really, God, I know you always, it's always an eye opener, like I never know. I know, but
What's out, right?
no. You have an interesting life, and I know that the cat number keeps increasing,
Yeah.
I have, yeah, we
It's
have one cat and
I didn't want it to, but the recent clump was neighbors down the street. People are aging. I had known them 20 years and now they're like 79 and 82 and ended up in nursing homes. The woman ended up, she had spinal stenosis, had an unsuccessful surgery that made her paralyzed. And now
Oh,
these cats are
geez.
abandoned in their house. And she's even saying to me, just put them to sleep. And I'm like, I
Right.
can't.
Yeah, no, I understand. All right, well, we got to keep going. So thank you for sharing all that. Yeah, Mark, hi, can you go next?
Which one?
I guess Mark Roby.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. This is like my 3rd one, right, Brian? This is 3,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been really fun. I really get a kick out of these things. I wish so much when I was in Arizona I could have seen you last year.
I know. I
Yeah,
had
but
so
you know
much going on.
I know. I was kind of bummed out because I thought, God, that'd be really cool if I could see Brian. But yeah, with the COVID thing and it was super hot in Phoenix that day. Remember how it was?
Oh,
super,
yeah.
super hot. It was in 100. It was like 110 or something.
Yeah,
then,
and
'cause
COVID. Yeah, COVID.
Yeah, COVID numbers were real high, and so we went to. I ended up going up to Prescott because that's where I was really going to check out. That's where I was thinking about living.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah. Once I left Firestone, I moved out to California for a minute. Then I moved back to Ohio. Went to school at Akron University, and then ended up moving back out here again. I didn't graduate from Akron U, but I came back out here and I went to San Diego State. I didn't graduate from there either. So school, I just lost interest in it. And I've always been into sales. My dad was a salesman, so I became one too. And so that was my thing. And then I got married in between there somewhere. And I was married for a very short time, maybe like 3 years. And she wanted to go back to Akron and I was living in San Diego. And so we went our separate ways. And I ended up moving to South Lake Tahoe. So that's where my whole that's my whole claim to fame right now, is the fact that I lived in South Lake Tahoe. The whole place was evacuated just recently because of all the fires out here in California. So you guys probably saw it on the news. The whole town was evacuated. So I had a bunch of friends up there that had to leave their homes behind while they fought the fires to keep everybody from their houses from getting burned up.
Which town is that?
South Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lake Tahoe. It's on
Wow.
the South Shore. So the whole town's like 10,000 people or more, and that probably more now, had to be evacuated out of there. But luckily, they got the fire under control before it came to the town. But I ended up working in the casino business. So I was in the casino industry for probably about, I'd say 7 or 8 years. I worked in the casinos for them. I was on the floor, so I worked on the casino floors. And I also, my last job there was a chauffeur at Caesars. So I got to pick up all the celebrities for their events that were going on at Caesars. So I picked up a lot of famous people, got a chance to chat with them and stuff. We had we were the first, Caesars were the first ones that had the celebrity golf tournament. You guys probably seen that on TV. So picked up a lot of celebrities for that, a lot of football players, couple singers and bands and things like that. So that was my most interesting job that I had up there. It was the most fun job. And then I met my wife up there, and we ended up getting married, and we have a son. And then we decided to move to Sacramento, and that's where I've been for the last 20 years, actually since '93. So Sacramento is kind of a place that I ended up. I'm not saying I really love it here. I'd really rather live somewhere else. I just don't like it that much. I mean, Ned lived in Santa Barbara. Now, that I would rather live in Santa Barbara or someplace like that. But I got to tell you, San Diego was a beautiful place. And I also lived for a short time on the Central Coast, and Ned knows where that is. I lived in Morro Bay and San Luis Obispo. And those places I liked, but it was very hard to make a living. It's just a resort place, you know, and it's a college town, so you can't make a living there. You just have to barely survive.
Wow.
And so I ended up in Sacramento, back up in Tahoe, and then came down here to Sacramento. I live in a town called Fair Oaks, and I have a son. He's 29 now, so he's doing his own thing. He lives here in this town, and he's got his own thing going. He does. He's working in some kind of software thing. I don't know. It's too confusing for me, but he's in the tech thing. And anyway, he wants to get into designing apps for your phones. That's the big thing now, app design. So anyway, I'm really happy. I had COVID, by the way. Let me tell you that I had COVID. It wasn't fun.
Wow.
I was super sick for a couple of weeks, and I had great support from my friends. And now I'm a survivor, so I made it through. It was 2 weeks of hell. It was pretty bad. So I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to get shots. I'm going to get shot. I never did. The very day, well, actually 2 days before I was going to go get the shots, I ended up with COVID. So now,
geez.
yeah, right. Bad timing. So anyway, I'm going to get my shots probably in about a month or so. I got to completely recover. It's been 2 weeks. And my body's still recovering. I'm still coughing some and whatnot. But you know what? It's like it was an eye opener, man. I'll tell you what. It just really makes you realize how precious life really is. When you get over that stuff, you're like, you walk out, just walking outside, you're like, wow, trees, air. So
Yeah.
it makes you super grateful.
No, well, we're glad you're here. I'm telling you. Yeah, I know it's been tough. I know in Phoenix, it's ramping up again,
It is. Yeah.
But
Same here.
Mark, I mean, can we go back to elementary school? I can remember at Case, you were like in my
Yes.
class, so
Yes.
I can't believe.
He was in my class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
I got the third grade picture, class picture someone posted to prove it. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah, so, but let's talk about that
That's
after.
right, Wendy.
Yeah, I want to keep going. So Mark, thank you so much for sharing, all that. Mark, the other Mark Stein, yeah, hi, can you go
Hey.
next? Sorry about that.
Sure. It's nice seeing everybody and hear people's voices. A lot of you, I guess we've kept in touch through Facebook a little bit, except for Mike Wolfson. I think the last time I saw Mike was when we had our bar mitzvah together. Was 7 or 8 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
But,
we had a
Well,
bar mitzvah
anyway.
party together.
Yeah, and here we live in the same state and haven't run into you yet. Yeah, so I'm a psychologist and at Seattle Children's, and I'm a professor of psychiatry at University of Washington. And I do a bunch of different things. I see patients. I do research. My specialty is ADHD. And I do research on different medications. And Wendy, I'm starting a new study on some supplements to treat ADHD, and another study on mindfulness, and another
Well,
study
there-
on
QMAX
yes.
has, I can send you a PDF of the 33 studies that were done on QMAX, which was called something else in the beginning.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I'm kind of skeptical, but we'll see what happens. I guess, yeah, I don't want to retire. I feel like I'm really fortunate to be able to do kind of, what I'm doing. My hobby is kind of beverages, and then
wow.
I like coffee and I like wine and I like whiskey. Although as I'm getting older, I'm having to moderate at least the whiskey part. COVID has really changed things. Brian Stass got off, but he inspired me to start biking. And I went on a bike ride today with my middle son, 23 miles. It was called Woodinville Ride. Woodinville is like the Napa Valley. It's the Washington kind of wine area. And you have like 3 stops and you get half pours of wine along the way, which was a little bit challenging. I have 3 kids. My oldest is he's a civil rights lawyer and an elite marathon runner. And then my middle son, who I went bike riding, is a software engineer. And then my youngest, she's a med student and she's about ready to go into residency. And I have 1 grandchild in Texas.
Oh,
So.
wow. Oh, that's cool.
Impressive.
Yeah, Mark, don't you have relatives still in Akron? Isn't Amy?
Just Ned. And
really?
Randy.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay. You're
I
adopted
mean, not real
relative.
relatives, but well, I guess I have some cousins in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'd love. I mean, it's been such a long time since I've been there, and of course, you just think of all the positive things about it. But I'm hoping that there'll be a reunion or another reason to go there, and then it'll be safe.
Mhm.
And I hope people get their vaccinations and hear
Yeah.
from Mark. Maybe he can tell more people what it's like.
Yeah.
I
No, I'll
mean,
tell you, I just came back from Hawaii and boy, it's very strict there. You can't go to a restaurant without showing your that you have proof of vaccination and
well,
It should be
New
that
York started that on September 13th.
oh
Yeah,
really?
it's like that here
Oh,
too.
okay.
That's good.
Wow. But yeah, Mark, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's great. I know I got together with Mark when he came to Phoenix. Yeah, how long
while
ago
ago.
was that? Yeah, I know. That was the last time I saw you, but yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
being a part of this. I know you were in the other one too. So
Mhm.
yeah, thanks, Mark.
Out of
Alright.
all of us, honestly, Mark is the best. He stays in touch with everybody.
Oh, oh, that's
So
cool. That's
it
cool.
really is a unique ability.
Well,
I know.
Carol does that too. Carol's the
That's
one who
good.
calls. She talks to Joyce Friedman and Penny Pulis, who none
Oh
of
my
us.
God, really?
Yeah, Carol's the one.
And
Yeah.
speaking of Carol,
I'm a
Carol, can you
social
go
butterfly.
next? Can you go next?
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
so hi, it's great to see everybody. I'm in touch with a few of you and it's really nice to get to see you all. I live in Boca Raton, Florida. I've lived here since 1989. I lived in Columbus before I moved here. I went to Ohio State, stayed, started as a journalist for a newspaper outside Cleveland in Elyria, and did that for a year and realized that newspaper reporting was not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I switched over to PR, and I've been doing PR in various forms since, oh my gosh, 1978. And I specialized in healthcare public relations for a long time and was vice president of an ad agency down here, head of the healthcare division. After that, I went to work in the corporate sector for the Sun Sentinel newspaper as community relations manager for Palm Beach County. Did that for 4 years. And for the last, and then I went to work for Motorola. Right as Motorola was deciding to close the plant that I was the PR director for. So that didn't last very long. And then I worked for Lynn University, a private university in Boca, for 13 years and left there 8 years ago. And after a short stint at a university in Miami called Barry University, I ended up where I am now, which is at the Broward Teachers Union, which is the labor union that represents all of the employees, classroom assistants, teachers, technical support people for the Broward County Public Schools, which is where Fort Lauderdale is. So it's the 6th largest district in the United States. And I've been there 5.5 years. Working in a labor union is not what I ever aspired to do, but it is a job that it will take me to retirement in 4 years. Been married twice. That didn't work out so well. But I have 2 wonderful sons from my first marriage. My son Jonathan is 39. He will be 40 in November. He is the product development director for a large company called IMG, which is a sports management company with offices all over the country. And he's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He works for the college division. And my son David is 36. He just got engaged in June and will be getting married next September in Petaluma, California, where he lives. And he is the product development director for a cannabis company out there, which is kind of the industry to be in California. Besides the wine industry, the cannabis industry is coming up strong. So he's engaged to a lovely girl. My son Jonathan in Winston-Salem is married to a lovely woman, and no grandchildren yet. I'm hoping and praying for some sooner rather than later, but nobody yet. And I do stay in touch with a lot of people, and I'm, really grateful to be in touch with so many of you, at least via Facebook, just to be able to keep up with each other's lives. It's, some of you like Mark Stein, Mike Wolfson, Ed Wasserstein, I've known since elementary school, Wendy. It's just really special to have these relationships with people. So it's great to see everybody.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Yeah, thanks for being a part of this. I know she lived in Scottsdale for a little while, and we got together a few times. It was so nice to be able to see you. Yeah, and just to let you know, Gail Lieberman, remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she moved here about 5 or 6 years ago with her husband, and my girlfriend and me are best friends with them.
Aw.
And they had
Didn't
moved.
they move to your neighborhood?
Yeah. Yeah, they when they moved here, they moved an hour away to Queen Creek, and they loved where we live, which is in Goodyear, of all places. Have you guys ever heard of Goodyear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona, Goodyear, Arizona,
Yeah.
which was founded by the forefathers of the Firestone and Goodyear plants. They used to come out here and vacation. So anyways, so we're in a retirement community, and they loved it. And they looked around to see if they could find something comparable. And after several years, they actually settled, and they bought a house. They built a house. It just closed, and they moved in last week. So they're my new neighbors now, about a block away. So we were over there yesterday. It's so cool to learn I know, I've never had that before. So,
Yeah.
anyways, but I think we covered everyone, right? So, except me. So I know Lily wants to hear about me, and
I
yeah,
do.
I kind of no, I mean, yeah, I grew up in Akron, behind St. Paul's
Were you in
Church.
the band, Brian?
Yeah, yeah, I play the drums, and
Sorry, just kidding.
I lived and breathed uh, in music. I'm telling you, I was in the stage band, the marching band, and yeah, during football season, we had to march, no matter what the weather was like. And I don't know how I look, when I look back, I don't know how I did it back then, because I'm older now. I got some back issues, you know what I mean? And but I remember the funniest thing is when we were marching one winter, it was snowing and it was like a mess out on the field. And when we got done with our formation, we came back and lined up. And when we were done, and someone said, "Look on the field, whose shoes are those?" And we looked, and there were shoes stuck in the mud. And I didn't know to this day whose they were, but I'm friends. No, on Facebook, and because I'm putting these things together, I've connected with a lot of classmates. And I don't know if you guys remember Jenny Cargill, I think her last name, Jenny
Yeah.
Cargill.
Yeah, sure.
She was in the band. It was
Yeah.
her shoes. It was
Oh, my
her shoes. And she told me that she she got someone brought them over and they were too muddy to put on and her socks were all muddy. So she had to ride back on the bus in yeah, just in her socks. I know. But anyways, so that yeah, I was in the band. I had a great time, made a lot of great friends. I'm still friends with Rick McCormick, Lance Chima, I don't know, Mark Smith, just on and on. But I went to Ohio State also, like Carol, graduated with an accounting degree, minored in marketing. And then I left Akron. I worked in Cleveland for about a year and a half in accounting, and then moved to Texas. I was in Houston, Texas with a Fortune 500 company, yeah, for about 14 years called SCI, and loved it, made a lot of good friends. And my brother had moved to Phoenix and kept saying, "You got to come here. You got to check it out. It's better." And anything was better than the winters in Ohio. And that's why I thought Houston, yeah, I thought Houston was the answer, but the winters were still tough. They'd get ice storms and all this stuff, and they'd have hurricanes. So I ended up with my sister moving here 25 years ago. And yeah, I got a job working at Honeywell. So I was with Honeywell for several years and worked at my brother's part-time at night and on the weekends. And then when I got laid off at Honeywell, went full-time with my brother. So I've been there for a number of years, and I'm actually just next month, I'm going to be winding down where I'm going to work a couple days a week. Yeah, so I can like actually hit retirement, and I've been waiting my whole life, you know what I mean, and planning and then I started a sideline business where I bring business owners together through networking. I never, when I was in corporate America for 24 years, I never even heard the word networking. And it's where you bring business owners together, you connect, you get to know each other, you do business with each other if you can. And I love it. I love bringing business owners together in Zoom meetings because of COVID and in person. And then I put on vendor events. My biggest one I had was at Scottsdale Marriott at McDowell Mountains with over 80 vendors, brought in a magician and a ventriloquist and just had a blast. So anyways, so that's what I've been doing. And Carol and me have been together for 10 years. We live in a retirement community. My sister lives out here and we both work for my brother. And we moved my mother out here. My stepmother, yeah, it's been a while after my dad died. So she lives with my sister. She's been here probably full time about 5 years ago. So she's 97 now. So we've been blessed to have her with us. And yeah, so anyways, but that's me in a nutshell. And then we got bikes, like Mark was saying, he's into biking. We bought electric bikes. I don't know if you've seen, they're little ones that
It's amazing.
actually fold up. Yeah, and you can transmute.
That's not really biking.
That's fake
No, wait,
biking.
But I
No,
guess,
believe me,
I guess
and
if
when
you're in
I,
a retirement
It's
community. you
not
might-
exercise.
no,
There's-
when we bike, I do make sure that I'm pedaling most of the time, but you know, there are times
Sure.
when I just push a button. It's
Yeah,
so
sure,
cool.
man.
So anyways, but that's about, yeah, my life in a nutshell. So I don't have any kids, and yeah, I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to like seeing you guys, you know, when I'm back in Ohio, or you know, if you guys get a chance to come down to Phoenix and visit. But anyways, I'm gonna end the recording. So again, it's Brian Newman. It's our Zoomunion. It's the third one we've had. And if you get a chance to join us next time, please do. And it's free. And you don't have to travel. You don't have to worry about catching COVID or anything like that. So I'm going to sign off on the recording. Stick around. We got more to
Yeah.
come. So thank you.